Oh, for those of you still with us, thank you so much. Hey guys, I think we finally are live. So I am hoping that this works out. We're gonna see how streaming from an iPhone works out for us today, and if that actually will work. But we're going to give it a shot. Welcome, guys. Mike Anderson here with Living Motion Monograms and the 1% Solution. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and waiting. I know we are late, but I am really excited today to be sharing with you guys some information that I came across. And to give you guys a little bit of a backstory here, basically what has happened is we had a little friend from Optoma visit our good friend Ben Stowe from NLFX Pro, and they kind of shared with him a new projector they've got out now that I think is kind of a happy medium for a lot of DJs out there in the market today. So we want to welcome everybody into the chat here. Michael G, thank you so much for showing up here. We're the masters. Mr. Adam, we appreciate you guys here. And Ian, 10,000 lumens for $299. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly, you nailed it, man. You nailed it. I think you had a premonition last night, maybe in a dream or something. But no, almost. It's kind of relatively close. It's, some of those numbers, but we're going to get into it here. And so what's happened is basically I want to kind of share with you guys, I think some of the main issues that people, or at least that I hear from DJs, obviously cost. And that I can understand. It's hard to spend a lot of money on, good quality equipment sometimes. But, I always kind of go back to my standby statement of, this is a professional piece of gear that we use for events. And I think it's incredibly important for us to, have good quality gear that we can rely on time after time for events. And so, with that, let's bring up. All right. I'm going to get our chat over here so I can see what you guys are saying here. And with that, I think that it is important to take the time, and if you need to, find ways to save up to get something that's going to work. I know that, Ian was just joking around there, but Paul, you didn't miss much. We just got started here. Little technical issues with our really amazing fast internet provider who decided to shut it off right before we got on. But like I said, I think Ian was just kind of joking around a little bit, but 10,000 lumens for $299. It's I see this a lot. Questions a lot saying, "Hey, my budget's $500," and it's hard to justify being able to charge clients $250, $350, $400, $500 for an effect like a monogram when, if the equipment to actually show it is $300, it just doesn't kind of constitute the, just justification besides the design itself. And so what we want to do as an industry is be able to really show people that there is an alternate way of doing monograms if it's done right. Now, one of the things I always tell people is, hey, if you already have something, a projector, try it out. We may be surprised. There may be something out there that it works really well, or it might work for some situations. But if you're looking for a new projector, I want to save you the heartache, and be able to share the knowledge that I've found out over the years and figured out where, it's going to save you money. It's going to save you the heartache and the tears of just buying the wrong thing, something that's just not going to work out. And with that kind of being said, I was, as one of the things we kind of mentioned time and time again is technology evolves. It gets better, it gets cheaper, it gets less expensive. And, I think that the better attributes, the better options tend to kind of float to the surface and stick with later generations of these projectors. And so with the kind of new stuff coming out, I want to show you guys what Optoma has up their sleeve. So I think what's kind of, originally turned into the industry standard was the Optoma 501 we used for a long time. And it was an amazing projector. I still have it. I still use it all the time. It was 5,000 lumens, 15,000 to 1 contrast ratio. And it did, USB presentation for just like still images. And that was, it worked. I just, there's better ways to get better quality images off of it. And then then all of a sudden they came out with the EH515, and it was 5,500 lumens. It was a little bit brighter. It had something we'd all been looking for a long time, 4-corner keystoning, which, is just amazing to have. It's helped out so many times in events. So, we've got, some of the key options that we want to, be able to have implemented into a projector. We also had, we also talk a lot about wireless. But God, it's nice to have wireless because it's tiring running cables and everything. So, when I started talking to Ben about this, he was excited just because of some of the options it has. But Optoma introduced this bad boy, which is the Optoma EH504 Wi-Fi. Now, keep in mind, you want to make sure it's the 504 Wi-Fi. And the reason for that is because they do have an EH504, and we'll talk about the differences between those two here in a second. But let me go over just a few of the details this thing has. It is a 5,000 lumen projector. So it matches what we had with the Optoma 501. The contrast ratio, 15,000 to 1. It has 4-corner keystoning, or it can do also vertical and horizontal at 30 degrees, which is one of the highest in the industry. Some of the other things, it only weighs 10.2 pounds, which is pretty awesome. We've got, a lot of the other features I'm going to talk to you guys about as we kind of compare so that we can just get an idea at the difference. But this is also, I gave it away in the name, everybody, but it's a 504 Wi-Fi. And what does the Wi-Fi mean? Well, the Wi-Fi means that it's got built-in wireless. That's right. Built-in wireless connects straight to your computer. Now, there's a couple things that I was interested in about this, and that we've kind of been able to find out a little bit. I wanted to know, because most Wi-Fis, when you connect these, whether it's with a network cable or something, you can usually share your main screen. And, Optoma's got some free software that you can use in order to be able to share up to, I think, 4 or 8 screens from a laptop, and then have one person control what content's being shown on the projector. But from my experience, it's been you'd have to share your main screen, and that's not what we really wanted. We wanted to be able to share a second screen so that we can control what's on that second screen or extended desktop with our computer. And so with this, one of the things that we are doing is that we found out that Ben was able to test out. Now, he did it with a Mac, so we know for sure that he was able to get a second screen enabled with a Mac. I'm still waiting to hear. He is at Midwest DJ Lives right now, where they are also showing the projector and stuff. And I doubt that anybody who's at that conference right now is watching, but maybe later they'll watch it, and we want to say hi to them, of course. Really, really great show that's going on out there. And it's, I almost have to assume that if he can get it, I said, okay, how'd you get it as a second screen? He goes, I started up the app. That's all it took. I'm like, that is sweet. So he is able to have a second screen just by using the Wi-Fi. Now, we'll also talk about, I think that you can either do an ad hoc where it connects directly to the projector, or, if you're have a system like mine, what I did is just out of convenience. I just bought a, cheap $50 wireless router that I put in my system. It's not connected to the internet, but what it does, it allows my, laptops and stuff and anything I want to communicate with each other. So if I want to control, my DJ software or like virtual DJ or something, I can use my iPhone, connect to that network, and the range is much better. So, it's a huge kind of perk to have that, just in your system. If you want to look into doing that. Plus, one of them, when I first did it, is because I use a signal processor, and I can control this processor with my phone or my iPad, and it connects directly with Ethernet into just any wireless router. And then as long as my phone is on that same network, I can control the features and make adjustments throughout the room wherever I'm at. So it makes it to where it's a very, very handy tool to have in your arsenal. We also want to welcome Dean. Thanks for coming. And no, you didn't miss the reveal. We're just getting going here. I'm showing some of the photos of the Optoma EH504 Wi-Fi, which is the new projector Optoma came out with. Let's take a look at the back side here. What's underneath the chassis? Now, what I want to do is this. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys. We'll kind of start going over the differences, because I know a lot of you guys know the specs of, people talk about a lot about the 515. And as we go over, what I want to do is kind of go over some of the differences between the two, so you guys can compare these. Because there are some differences, and I want to say, be able to explain to you guys the perks and maybe some of the drawbacks, just in case you use a feature that may not be included with this kind of newer style projector. All right, so we've got both of them up here. On the right side, we got the 515 specs, and on the left side, we've got our 504 Wi-Fi specs. Now, with that, we have, look. All right. So the first thing that stands out is, let's take a look at the lumens. Obviously, I said earlier, it's the 504 Wi-Fi is a 5,000 lumen projector. The EH515 is the kind of equivalent at 5,500 lumens. And for those of you guys just getting into this, lumens is just a measurement of brightness. So it just kind of tells us how bright this projector is. You start looking at the contrast ratio of this. The actual 504 Wi-Fi has the 515 beat. It's 15,000 to 1. And as we know, with the EH515, the contrast ratio is 10,000 to 1, and we know that works really well because we use that all the time. So having more is not a negative. We know that is a good number to have more of. We start to go down the list here, and both of them have 4-corner keystone. A really, really great feature to have, especially for when we're kind of angling. This allows us to angle not just up and down, but if you have to angle it to the left or to the right, works really, really well. Let's look at image size. So both of them, when you look at the specs on image size with these are what they're rated to do. Now, it doesn't mean they can't do it, but I think what this means is after this point, they start to lose image quality. And with a majority of projectors, you're going to see until you get into like the $10,000 dollar range and more projectors, you'll usually see this kind of number, which is image size can be like with the 504, 26.2 inches diagonal to 301 inches diagonal. And with the 515, it's pretty much the same. We got 27.2 to 301 inch diagonal at 16:9. And what that just means is, again, when we're doing much larger images, say wall mapping or monograms or something, this number is going to be important, because I think that as you look at some of the other styles of projectors, whether it's short throw or ultra short throw, you're going to notice that screen size is much smaller. And so it's, as you make this, you know, it's designed for, say, 100-inch screen. And with, you know, these can do 300-inch screens. We just have a lot more leeway when we make those images a lot bigger, because we know from experience that we've done images that are, you know, 20, 30 feet across before, without issues. And I think the bigger the image, bigger you make the image, kind of the farther back you want the guests or the audience to be. You don't want them right next to the wall at that point, because the closer they are to the projected surface, they're going to notice those imperfections. So we've got throw ratio. So what's the throw ratio itself? Actually, optical zoom first. So optical zoom on the 504, we've got our 1.6, and on the 515, we've got 1.8. So there's one of the changes. With the 515, having a 1.8 manual zoom compared to a 1.6 means, you know, 1.8 times, we're able to have kind of a more of a range. We can make a bigger image from closer, or a smaller image from farther away. It's not much of a difference, but you are going to have to be a little farther away in order to make a larger image with the 504 Wi-Fi, which kind of brings us into what that lens makes the throw ratio a little bit different. So with the 504 Wi-Fi, you've got 1.41 to 2.24 compared to 1.2 to 2.16. So, and again, remember, that's just when you start to see that, for example, like 1.41 to 1 means that if we were, you know, projecting from 10 feet, we could make a, you know, 14-foot image. Same thing with the, you know, 515. If we're projecting from 10 feet, we can either do, you know, a 12-foot image or a 21-foot image, just with the manual zoom that's, you know, on there. Don't forget, guys, if you guys do have questions, make sure you toss them in the chat here. Say hi. And Ian has a question here. It says, will the 500 lumens difference really hurt us? You know, I again, remember, we used 5,000 lumens with the 501 for years. It worked out really, really great. You know, it's nice having a little extra, but 500 lumens is gonna be, you know, I think that there's just going to be a lot fewer situations where that difference is going to show up. You know, that will shine when we're in really, really bright rooms themselves. Also, guys, as you guys are watching here, if you want to subscribe, we're going to try this out here. We've got, not sure how this is all planning or on working here, but we've got our, you want to subscribe to the channel. We're going to see if your name pops up here. It usually should, but it may end up not working quite as well with running this thing off of my phone. Let's see here. So hit that subscribe button. We're going to see how this all works out. And if you're getting some good information that you guys that is helping you, make sure you hit that like button, because it definitely helps me out. Once you subscribe, if you want to get notifications on new stuff that is coming out, new live streams, new videos, turn that bell blue right down there below, and that's going to give you the notifications of new videos that we toss out there. And we're going to talk about a little contest we're having as well, that a lot of you guys may already know about. We're going to give away some free stuff. So back to our little projectors here. Looking at the kind of the back side of the projector, we can notice that on the 504 Wi-Fi, we still have our two HDMI inputs, which have the one of them has the MHL, which is the kind of standard for, you know, connecting phones and tablets and stuff into it. But remember, it also has the Wi-Fi, which means that we can connect our phones and tablets and kind of mirror image that screen just with the Wi-Fi. I think with the laptops, we're able to actually make a second screen But, you know, one of the things that I kind of was taught people about was, what if you're at an event and you want to Skype in a relative? Well, guess what? Now all you need is a phone. It does work with Android. It does work with iOS. And now all of a sudden the relative can Skype in on the phone, and all you're doing is duplicating your screen right up there on the projector as the surprise. Very, very cool feature. And then you can also, since it's got the Wi-Fi, you can do it wirelessly. Now, the wireless is an option that you can do with pretty much any of the other projectors, because I know that Optoma offers the wireless dongle, which helps out a lot, that you can plug in. But again, something that we are kind of looking at, one of the new projectors here, which has built-in Wi-Fi. It has the VGA input, and we also still has the VGA out. The VGA out could be used for a monitor. It could be used to maybe link to another projector to show the same content on a second projector. We've got our composite video in, and still have our audio in at the top here. Next one down is another audio in for, you know, one's usually for composite and one's for the VGA. But it also still has audio out, which I think is important, because if we're sending a signal over, sometimes I use my, you know, if I'm doing, say, you know, using my projector for video games at an event, then I use the audio out and come out of the projector into a powered speaker, so I just have a little bit more bump, a little more thump with the music and game audio. But sometimes if I'm running off my laptop, I'll send the signal wirelessly, and it will send the audio as well, and I'll take the audio out of the projector, which could just be a playlist of music, and come into a powered speaker and do my background music through the wireless itself, which works out really well. All right, and then up here, you'll notice this looks like a right at the top. Let's see if you guys can see this right up here, number 15. That is our kind of 3D sync. Basically, that is used for if you're setting this up with 3D glasses, and that is for a 3D transmitter to connect to the glasses. We still have our service port up here. One of the things you'll notice, it's got HDMI 1, HDMI 2. In the manual, it also talks about HDMI 3. And as I was looking through it, apparently one of the things that it does is it's got right in the cover, it kind of opens up and it's got a compartment with an HDMI input. And that's just for some HDMI dongles. And you know, I again haven't seen that in a projector, and I'm not sure what dongles actually fit in that compartment. But we'll look at the manual a little later and see what it doesn't give a lot of information on it, but it may be something for future technology that can fit right in there. In the back, we still have our LAN connection for wired connection, and we've got, you'll notice a USB port here. Now the USB port is used for service, for updating the information on the projector for Optoma, but also it is a power source. So if you have a Chromecast dongle or something else you're connecting in, that allows you to actually power a device that's up to 1.5 amps that's being powered with, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I think, was it 5 volts? I think USB is 5 volts. And which helps out quite a bit if you just don't want to run an extra power supply on there. So Howie says, did I miss the map price? No, you didn't. We are getting into that here pretty soon, because that is kind of one of the perks of this projector here. And then comparing as far as the options that maybe the 515 has that the 504 does not. So we'll look at the back of it here. 515 has an extra VGA input. It also has a DisplayPort input that the 504 does not, if you're running any DisplayPort stuff. It does have S-Video, which the 504 does not have. And then it's got a couple extra audio, either inputs and outputs. So with the 515, you can actually connect a mic into it, in case you ever want to do that. Maybe not for what we do, but for meetings and stuff, you can use the speakers on the projector itself for you know, small microphone. We've also got still have the audio output, 12-volt out, which is triggers both projectors have, kind of used to trigger screens to drop down when the projector's turned on. And then the controls are on the back here because we've got the room itself. So not much different. I think it's got the key elements that we need. I know that one of the other differences is with the 515 is that if we look at the photo here, you'll notice on the top there's a dial, on the side there's a dial here. And if we look on the 514, we've got a dial on the top, which allows us to control you know, left, right, very, very kind of, if we want to make very small adjustments to bring the screen left or right to line it up, which helps out a lot. And I think that this, because it has the horizontal control as well, I think the side one is the vertical control. And what it's going to allow you to do is, if you are image stacking or using two projectors, you know, you can technically do it with both, but you may have a little bit harder time lining them up without this feature, because that's kind of one of the reasons why they put this feature in here, is that you can take two of the projectors, you know, aim them at the same direction, and then using the four-corner keystone as a combination of that with the dials here, you can line everything up perfectly and kind of create an 11,000 lumen projector if you need the, you know, the power bump on it. All right, so speaker wise, one of the things they did with the 504 is they've got like two speakers in there, which is stereo. They both have the 1/4 inch audio jacks for the output we talked about. And you know, size, the 504 Wi-Fi is, you know, 14.5 inches wide and 5.2 inches high, 12 inches deep. And so the difference is, first number I'll always do is the 504. Second one will be the 515. So 14.5 on the 504, 16.7 on the 515. So it's a little bit wider. 5.2 high on the 504 and 6.3 high, about an inch taller on the 515. And then 12 inches deep on the 504 and 13.5 inches deep on the 515. So we got an inch and a half deeper on the 515. So slightly, you know, smaller unit compared between these two, but it's, I think, about the same size, kind of equivalent to maybe slightly larger than the 501 there. Now the big thing is the 504, it's about $500 cheaper. Right about there. Let me see. I want to, because Ben was telling me about, he's got a special for, I was talking about this, and he's got a special for Midwest DJ Live, and he said he's extending that to our Living Motion Monograms people. So I will have a link if you guys are interested. You just want some more information, you know, to contact Katie over NLFX Pro. They since Optoma was there, they worked out a deal for, but it's not a number I can say on the stream, simply because it is below map price, and so I'm not allowed to advertise it. So let's look at, so that's right. Okay, so map on the 504 is $13.99. I will tell you that the price is going to be different. If you give NLFX Pro a call, I just can't say what that price is, so you're gonna have to talk to them personally. And if we look at the difference between the two, map price $17.99 on the 515. So yeah, 13, so about 18 and 14. So yeah, $400 price difference between the two. I just tell you that it's a little bit more than that as far as if you give them a call. If as far as if you're interested there. So we've got those major differences in line there. You know, looking at your guys, if you got questions, again, toss them in here. Yeah, Howie. Well, with Wi-Fi, you know, it's an awesome, you know, I think it's going to be an awesome feature to have. Obviously, it's something that we can add on to any, you know, any of the projectors with either, you know, wireless or with just the wireless dongle that they have. So I think that's a major advantage. And I, you know, I just think it's going to be one of those tools that brings it into a price range that's going to satisfy a lot more of the DJs who have a hard time biting the bullet for, you know, the higher end 515. And still have the options. I mean, some of the main options that we always look for and we want to have is, I think, is the 4-corner keystoning, right? And, you know, having the power, 5,000 lumens is a lot of power there. So I think that's a big perk. But tell me what you guys think in the chat. What are some of the features you guys look for in a projector? What are some of the things you always want to see, and that would be beneficial? Can you guys think of anything that this doesn't have that would help you guys, and maybe you'd like to see in maybe a future edition of the you know, projectors? Maybe we can get enough people and put enough little pressure on there and get Optoma to implement some new ideas in the next version, or maybe even in just an update. Let me know what you guys think in the chat there. And Ian says he's got an Epson and he's got Wi-Fi built in with Epson. He uses it right from Virtual DJ with music videos, karaoke, and the photo booth slideshow. And I think that what he's talking about is the slideshow program with his photo booth, and it sounds like it just connects directly with the computer. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you know, a lot of projectors have had that option, and I'm glad to see. You know, Ian, maybe you can tell us, is that obviously it acts as a second screen, I assume, if you're using it with Virtual DJ and your photo booth. That's awesome. Weight comparison between the 501 and 515, Gary wants to know. I know the 515's weight comes in at 13 pounds, and the let's see, the 501, it should still have the specs on here. Bring this in here for you guys. We've got 9.9 pounds. So 10 pounds with the 501, 13 pounds with the 515, and the new 504 Wi-Fi comes in at 10 pounds, 10.2 pounds. So like I said, it was just right around there. And I think that, let's see about size. So width 15.2 on the 501, and width on the 504 is 14.5. 15, okay, so 15.2 and 14.5. So it's a little smaller as far as width than the 501. Height is 6 inches on the 501. Height on this one on the new one is 5.2, so it's a little shorter, and 11 inches depth and 12 inches. So it's a little deeper. It's an inch deeper, but than the 501 if you're comparing those two. But same contrast ratio, same brightness. And the other key feature that I preach like no other is, you know, I always tell people, make sure you're gonna buy a projector, you know, don't waste your money on something that's not HD. It's such a huge difference. and it makes a dramatic difference in the quality for what we're using it for. I just think that it's one of those things where if someone's asking for my opinion, that they're just gonna, I always have to tell them that, because I think they're just gonna regret not having an HD projector that has and to tell the difference, make sure, just look for the native resolution on that. So if we look and you see on like this spec sheet here, native resolution 1920 by 1080. You also see maximum resolution 1920 by 1080. And the native resolution is the actual number of pixels that it can produce as project, and the maximum resolution is the maximum resolution it can accept or process into the projector. So you may see a maximum resolution of 1920 by 1080, but then the native resolution is only like 720 by 1024 or something like that. Just not quite enough for what we do use it for, and for a lot of situations it'll work great. You just for if you use it for what that projector is designed for the normal size screens, but if you try and go larger, yeah, you might run into a few more of those issues there. So Ian says that's correct on his Epson he's got. Actually, Ian, tell me, if you don't mind, share with us the model number of that as well, because I think everybody would be interested in that. Which model ends up having those Wi-Fi or those wireless features would be great. But it's 10,000. Oh, 10,000 lumens, 100,000 to 1 contrast ratio would be great. Oh, okay. He said it would be great. Yeah, no, I agree. You can get 10,000 lumens. You just have to stack them, or you have to spend $10,000 to $40,000 on a dual bulb projector. So yeah, that could be an issue there. He says it does do extended desktop, so that is awesome. So how long has the 515 been on the market? Does Optoma have plans for a 515 Wi-Fi? Oh god, I hope so. I don't know if they would come out with a 515 Wi-Fi. I think that because they have the option of adding the Wi-Fi onto it, simply with their their dongle is not it's just a Wi-Fi dongle, and I don't think it's very expensive. I always thought, and again, I maybe never assume, because what it does. When I was playing with it, I always had the issue of it duplicated my screen. But for you guys, I'm gonna try and get a lot more research into what it can do and get my hands on one so that I can see if we can actually make it as a second screen with the dongle that they use. Optoma wireless. Because I do have their wireless system, which is the Optoma WHD 200 wireless system, and it runs about $219. And they're got a wireless VGA dongle, Optoma wireless MHL. Here's a wireless adapter by Optoma, which is $79. And I think this one is probably our best bet. And that allows you to mirror the entire screen of an Android, iOS, Mac, OS X, and Windows device at 1080p. Supports all popular codec, access display, popular cloud storage providers, stuff like that. HD Cast Pro's full versatile 1080p. And that's the thing. It always talks about screen mirroring, screen mirror duplicates the entire screen of the display for everyone in the room to view. Screen mirror is perfect, but it never talks about extended desktop. And it may be something that is only available with the Wi-Fi. Hopefully we're gonna see soon, because Ben he's a little busy this week, but he was he was able to get a second screen extended desktop with his Mac with no issues, just launching the app. So we're gonna get those details for you as well, and hopefully I'll share them in the comments section below with you guys as soon as we're able to know. I know they're at, like I said, they're at the DJ conference, and so they're going to be a little bit busy. But you know, if you guys are have questions, let's see, let me give you guys one of the things. I will have the email address in the comment section below, but give Katie a call over at NLFX Pro and see about you can talk with her and see about the details as far as pricing and what she's learned from it, because Ben has been playing with this thing like crazy. Doing a little presentation on it as well at the DJ conference. I wanted to have her on here, but it obviously they're a little busy this week. So, but like I said, I will have the information below. Katie's information, if you want to email her, it's Katie, Katie at nlfxpro.com. Or give them a call, 888-660-6696. Just go to nlfxpro.com, their website, if you need the phone number and stuff. But I'll have that information below, like I said. You know, and I'm gonna do one more thing. One of the things I always want to do is I want to support the people that support our industry, and you know, that's one of the reasons why I mention that I'm passionate about mentioning, you know, companies that really do support our DJ industry, who are there for our conferences, who make it possible for us to be able to have that education. And that's why I bring up like NLFX all the time. And you know, Eternal Lighting, stuff like that just does an amazing job and is always there for us. So one of the things I'll do, if you end up buying a projector from NLFX, all you have to do, I'm going to give you guys a free monogram. So one of the things that we'll end up doing is all you have to do is send your proof of purchase, you know, a copy of your paid receipt to info@livingmotionmonograms.com. And what I'll do is provide you guys with a free monogram design. And it'd be your choice if you want to use the video or the static images for an event in the future. And you just basically pick out the one you want from the monogram templates on livingmotionmonograms.com. You know, maybe you guys already have all the templates, but it'll be maybe it's an event you just want to take a break and not have to do the design work on. You know, I'll do it for you. But again, it's just kind of a way of one of my ways that I want to support the industry, support those people who are, you know, really supporting us as DJs and letting us do what we, you know, learn on new education and making that even possible. So, plus, I hope that, you know, in a way that when if you do find the projector for, you know, $20 or $30 cheaper somewhere else from, you know, somewhere that just doesn't, you know, maybe to support our industry as much, maybe this will be that perk that will help you guys, you know, lean towards using someone who does support us. So yeah, check that out. Again, any projector, and if you have recently purchased a projector, and you want, even if it's just like Michael, he just got another 515, which, you know, to be honest with you, I don't think I will be straying away from the 515. It's something I think that's still my go-to. But this is another option that's out there that's a little less expensive. And you know, if you've purchased one in the past, you know, 30 days from NLFX and you want the free monogram, I'll just email me a copy of the paid receipt and I'll get you on that list so that I know that we've got a free one coming to you guys. So don't stress about that either. All right, so we've got that. Again, any final questions, put them in the chat here. We're going to take care of that. and answer those for you. But like I said, I'm really excited. It's the Optoma 416. Oh, you know what? 416 Wi-Fi. Let me tell you guys also, for those of you who didn't see the video, you can get all the information. I've got a video on our channel here, which talks about a little contest we are having that's going to be running for the next couple weeks. And you know, we're going to be giving away some prizes. I want to see photos of your guys's if you own an X2 projector mount, I want to see your projector on top of it. I want to see what it looks like. Oh, just, you know, and so it's really easy to enter. All you got to do, kind of take a slightly close up photo of what your projector looks like sitting on top. You know, post it at the Living Motion Monogram site or on your, you know, Facebook page but make sure you use the hashtag, and all the again, the hashtags are on the other video, enter to win video that we have on our page there. But use the hashtag X2 projector mount contest and hashtag Living Motion Monograms if you just put it on your page or on our Living Motion Monograms page itself to enter. Really simple. And then if you can, I really appreciate, just hit that subscribe button, and we'll get you, you know, on subscribe to the channel as well for future updates. You know, we try and do these, you know, new information and new training every, you know, Monday, as long as we can get the internet working. So take the time to do that. If you don't, I understand if you don't have enough the X2 projector mount, we got you covered too. Hey, maybe, you know, maybe you want one, because you're going to start doing this kind of stuff. Then it's really easy. What I want you to do is, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button on the channel. That way I got your subscription, and let me know what I want you to do is take the channel link, put it on your Facebook page if you want, and just make a post with the Facebook link and use the hashtags, same hashtags, X2 projector mount contest and hashtag Living Motion Monograms. And then do me a favor and add in your you know, YouTube name below that, just so that I know which subscription is you. Some people don't use their real names with this, you know, their YouTube account, which is okay. But I want to know who those people are. And then that just enters you in automatically as well. If you have the X2 projector mount, you can have up to 2 submissions. If you have 2 different models of projectors, just take photos of, you know, they just have to be different models on the X2 itself. We're going to find out who the winners are going to be using random number generators. The first number we draw is going to get a full X2 projector mount shipped to their door. Second place is going to get a copy of the Projectors DVD, 1% Solution Volume 7 projectors, where we talk about a lot of great ideas you can use your video projectors for. And then we've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all going to get a free monogram design from livingmotionmonograms.com, one of the templates there, all for one of your events. All you got to do is supply the information, and I will make all the edits and give you the projector ready images. And you'll have your choice of either video or static, depending on what event's coming up. So enjoy that, and good luck to everybody who submits and is in the competition. We're going to use kind of a random number generator to pick those numbers, which will be on a spreadsheet at the beginning of our live stream. And again, all the details in the video enter to win on our Facebook, or on our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channel here. So thank you guys again so much. Our final questions are 416 Wi-Fi. I think 416 Wi-Fi. No, it's a 504 Wi-Fi is what it is. Is the projector we've been talking about. So the new projector that we wanted to announce today was the Optoma 504 Wi-Fi. There is an EH504. So make sure that you don't look up that one. It's going to be a little cheaper, but the difference between the two, you lose 4-corner keystoning, and you also lose the Wi-Fi, which I think makes it worth. I think they're like a $50 difference. So it's definitely worth that amount of money. So yeah, we've got the Optoma EH504 Wi-Fi as that new projector that we were talking about today, and comparing it. Don't forget, guys, if you missed some of this, don't worry about it. In just a little bit, once it's done processing, we're going to have those videos live for you guys. You can go back and watch them and take a look at all the other information that we talked about. So perfect. And I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you guys again. If you found it useful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again. We will see you next Monday. Again, we're going to go noon. If we have to run this, I kid you not, it's running it off my phone for this, so I apologize if there's been any lag in this broadcast. But hopefully we'll have all that straightened out by next week as well. Enjoy, everybody. We'll see you again next week, and you know, go out there, have fun, keep an open mind, and try new things, because that's how all the new stuff comes about. You know, be creative out there, guys.